What up, people? Push While Black here, and this is our weekly NBA show. Once again, I have my boy Anthony Joslin on the line. This will also be a Push 101 Pushcast dual vlog. Let's get the dual branding out the way. So this will be on both of our channels.
What up, people? Good day.
So, Brother Anthony, you have seen a lot more games than me this week. I have seen about 4. Top of mind is the ones I focused on were the 2 Thursday games, and I focused on the 2 Saturday games. The 2 Thursday games were the Bulls and who the Bulls played Thursday? Not the Clippers, because they played Saturday. But
go back and look in the schedule.
Was it? It wasn't Portland. Hold on. I have a. That's messed up. I have a break. I have a brain freeze right as we're doing this. That's awesome. But anyway, hold on. It was
you know what? I saw.
It was Bulls in Utah. Okay, now everything is coming back to me now. Bulls in Utah and the Timberwolves. Timberwolves played against Philly. So the Timberwolves and Philly Thursday, I got a chance to see those 2 teams. Timberwolves played really, really good.
Yeah, the Timberwolves always do play really, really good. They're just so young. They're really knowing how to compete, but they're not knowing how to win.
Mm-hmm. Philly was a good barometer of like as far as how to work the defense, because they really haven't been guarding people that well. That was a good opportunity for them to practice some of the defensive sets. Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid went at it. Karl Anthony Towns clowned Embiid a couple times. Wiggins snapped off for 30, 35, and 10.
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of that. He's coming, man.
Yeah, they once they get the defense going on, they'll be fine. The point guard play, and they gotta get the guy they drafted, the point guard they drafted. They gotta get him more in the fold. They're still kind of focusing on Rubio, which is fine, but they gotta get some more point guard play. Philly is 2-10.
You know what? With these 2 teams, I'm not even considering record. You know what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
I'm 2 years from now, they're going to be problems.
I'm looking at a year from now, especially with Philly, and this is one of the few times I agree with Charles Barkley. Philly has a lot of injuries right now, and Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons was going to be that point guard that runs that offense. Right now, they're doing patchwork. Philly's doing patchwork as far as the point guard game is going.
And you know what? You just brought up something that we're going to have in the next segment. He is a small 6'10". He's a short 6'10", but he's still 6'10".
You talking about Embiid, or you talking about
Simmons?
Ben Simmons. Yeah. They're saying Ben Simmons isn't out for the year. They're saying like because they want to give like leeway toward the end of the season if he comes back or not.
Yeah, they said that he should be back by the All-Star break. But you know what, man? Take the same approach you did with Embiid, man, because you don't want to damage that kid's career just because a whole bunch of drunk Philadelphians.
I mean, they really, And then with Colangelo running that team, like this isn't. We know Philly has talent. You know what I'm saying? This isn't necessarily a quote unquote lost year for them, but you don't have to rush back. Everybody knows next year and the year after next is going to be your, breakout season. Minnesota, I still have them getting in the playoffs.
Oh, they're gonna get in the playoffs.
I truly believe that Reggie Miller listened to our NBA preview because he was saying they should be fighting for their record should not be as low as it is because they should be fighting for a playoff spot. But it's only 11 games of the season, so we'll wait and see. The second game that I focused on was the Utah and Chicago game, and this was the game where the Bulls decided to play defense.
Right.
And, they're on their circus trip. Bulls played well. Rondo, I don't believe Rondo played that game. But it was a good opportunity to see basically their bench. And Utah, I didn't really see Utah as a team to look out for, but they have a really good squad. They have a really decent squad, but it's out in the West, so I don't know if they'll break through. They might break through in the playoffs, but I'm really not. I really didn't see them as like a viable Western Conference. Just because I think there's better coaching with other teams with worse records. See the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And what did you see, man? Because I'll get to the Saturday games later. Because we actually watched one game. Well, I don't know if you stopped watching that game at some point, the Bucks and the Warriors. But we actually.
I watched the game all the way through.
You watched it all the way through.
Nice preview for the next segment coming up, but it was the young stretch four against a more seasoned stretch four.
Right.
The Greek freak, his name is Giannis Oladipo. The guy, he's originally from Nigeria, but he lived in Greece for most of his life. Uh-huh. This cat is a legit 7-footer running your offense from the point.
Yeah. I still have mixed feelings on that, but okay.
Now, KD never really technically said, hey, I could run point, but I really feel like in a pinch he could. But just the sight of just the sight of another 7-footer bringing the ball up and then another 7-footer trying to check the 7-footer bringing the ball up blows my mind. And it was a good game. KD and the Warriors, it was a very close game. And here's what's going on with the Warriors. I think depending on night, Klay Thompson or Stephen Curry will have a bad shooting night, and KD has been very consistent, and he seems to, as the games go by, he seems to be meshing himself well into the offense. The only concern with the Golden State Warriors is going to be their bench. And that brings me to another point. We saw 3 Clippers games this week.
I saw 1.
I saw 3, I think.
Okay.
The Clippers have really improved their bench, and that makes them more formidable, but here's where I think they're going to fail.
I still don't believe in them bums, but go ahead.
Okay, and I understand your feelings. Excuse me. But here's where they're going to fail.
Uh-huh.
In the playoffs, it's a different type of game.
Uh-huh.
It's not... excuse me. It's not a regular season deal. It's a different type of game, and you need to know how to coach through scoring lows. You need to know who to put on the floor when to do certain things.
Uh-huh. Which Doc doesn't know how to do.
Right. He knows how to put the pieces together, but he's not the best in-game coach.
They don't... Go ahead, man, because as you're talking, I'm trying to hold back a rant.
Well, I mean, if you want to, go.
No, go ahead, bro. Go finish your point.
But I think where they're going to fail is with their core players and not with their bench players. So, I think it's going to be Golden State and somebody else, and I think the Clippers are going to lose in the second round.
As they do. As they're prone to do. Now, I saw one Clippers game. They beat my Bulls. And we have Doc is a little better than Fred Hoiberg, but here's my thing with Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers had one good year where he took a bunch of okay players and either they made it to the playoffs or they just missed the playoffs. And I think he won Coach of the Year when he coached Orlando. And I think Daryl Johnson was on that team. John Amici was on that team. And I think they made the playoffs. And after that, Doc's been okay. And then he coached the Big Three. The Big Three won one championship. Made it to 2 of them. Won one championship. He goes to the Clippers. The Clippers. Here's my thing with the Clippers. And I'm not really going to go in on the Bulls because I've already stated in the preview. I stated last year, Fred Hoiberg should not be an NBA coach. He's not good at it. I still stand by my prediction that the Bulls will go to the Eastern Conference Finals, but that's because the East is weak. The East is up and coming. The Bulls have a veteran team. That offense seems to be working when Rondo is healthy and when everybody's healthy. I think they'll outshoot everybody with the exception of Cleveland. And if they don't meet Cleveland in the second round, they'll end up meeting them in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the Bulls will lose to Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 games. That is my prediction. That being said, Fred Hoiberg should not be coaching. That last technical was stupid. It was poor. That game was still close. That technical was stupid. The reason you lost that game was poor coaching, as you tend to do. The Clippers don't have a closer. Their best closer is on the bench.
I mean, they do have a closer, but you got to know how to use him, man.
Who is their closer?
Jamal Crawford.
He's on the bench. He doesn't start. That's what I'm saying. Their best closer is on the bench. Their best closer is on their second team. He's not starting.
Well, here's my thing. He doesn't necessarily have to start to be your closer.
But he has to close. See, he doesn't close all the time. He doesn't close all the time. They don't defend. We still have to believe that now toward the end, I'm starting to see there was a rotation that I was seeing, or substitutions that I was seeing. Austin Rivers is a defender, I'm guessing, because Doc had him rotate in defensive setups, toward the end. So he's not a closer. But they're still trying to. There's still this illusion that he's like a two guard or a combo guard or whatever, and it's just like he's not. Blake Griffin is still a posterizing person, even though he didn't really jump over anybody, and I just don't believe in now the Clippers have a heck of a record. Everybody's gonna be like, the Clippers are awesome, yay! And then it's like, okay, when you get to when you wow, there's a matinee going on right now, Atlanta and New York. Awesome. As I'm looking through the NBA.com game list as I pull up.
Yeah, you kind of new to this NBA stuff. New York always has early matinee games on Sundays.
I didn't know that they
Yeah.
randomly have an NBA a matinee game. Anyway, I don't. The Clippers are 12-2. The Bulls are 8-5. They're gonna be fun to watch. I just don't think they're gonna do anything once they hit the playoffs. Just like I don't think Toronto is gonna do anything when they get to the playoffs. These teams are. My thing with the Clippers.
They require too much scoring from.
And stop saying JJ Redick is Steph Curry. Stop comparing them to Steph Curry. That's another that's what's the term? What's the term you always use? False construct. JJ Redick is a spot up shooter. Now I appreciate the fact that he made himself better and he can create his own shot a little bit. But that brother is not Steph Curry. Stop.
Well, I don't call it a false construct. I call it a bullshit construct.
Okay. Bullshit construct. Bullshit construct number one. Stop comparing JJ Redick to. I keep hearing that. That needs to stop. Stop comparing him to that. JJ Redick is a nice 3-point shooter. I'm glad he's there. He's a nice 3-point shooter. He is a piece. He really shouldn't be starting, to be honest. It should be Paul and Crawford starting, and it should be Paul and Crawford closing. Because you're but to Jamal's credit, he's carved himself out a niche as a 6-man, and coaches are using him as a 6-man and as an off the bench scorer, and it's a good thing. But he should be starting for that team. You know what I'm saying? Like JJ Redick should not be starting for that team. Now, because in the playoffs, you're going to have to know how to score and have court sets, and they still don't know how to do that. They won that game. I watched that game, and I was just saying to myself, come on, somebody take over, please. Somebody take over, please. Somebody take over like Jimmy Butler did in the Utah game. Because the Bulls almost lost the Utah game, but Jimmy Butler snapped off and closed. The Clippers, it was a 19-point deficit, and the Clippers erased it and won that game.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem with in the East. They're weak enough to where the East is weak enough, like I said earlier, to where the Bulls are probably going to end up being in the conference finals if the playoffs land correctly for them. But they don't guard. And when they do guard, they don't guard. They don't. When I say that they go for steals, which is a little better than last year because last year they didn't even do that. Now this year, because of Wade and because of Rondo, they go for steals. So they defend a little better, but like they don't guard, and you can easily outrun them because they're old, and they go through shooting slumps. They went through a crazy shooting slump where they couldn't because that offense is predicated on ball movement and threes. If they have a bad shooting stretch, which that team, the Bulls are built with streaky shooters. D-Wade's a streaky shooter. Rondo's a streaky shooter when he tries to shoot. You know what I'm saying? You have streaky, okay shooters and an offense that's built on movement, and your best shooter, quite honestly, are your big men. Nico Mirotic, and he's really not a big man, but Doug McDermott, and I think Doug McDermott didn't play because he has that concussion protocol thing. I don't know. It was I watched that game and I was just saying to myself, please, somebody take over, please, because the Clippers, it was close the whole game, dude, until like the last 5 minutes.
And I just think the Clippers are playing above their head. The Warriors are kind of sandbagging. And I think I'm going to watch Cleveland over the holiday and kind of come back with some, with some information on them, because I think that defensively they're going to be lacking in some areas, and I still think Dunleavy is not an upgrade.
No, and again, I'll see what he does in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, Cleveland will be fine. I'm not really worried about, because again, the East is still weak, and I'm not worried about Cleveland faltering. They'll make the finals again. Like, they'll make the finals again. I don't know if I'm not going to say that the Warriors, the few games that I've seen of them, I'm not going to say that the Warriors are sandbagging. I'll say they're figuring it out, and from what I saw last night, which is what I envisioned KD being. KD is being that guy with that guy that where if you need to go inside, not inside like post play, but inside like cutting to the basket. The way they're using him, and they're still using him he had a lot of spot up three. He had a bunch of spot up threes, man, but they were still using him to like go inside and cut in the lane.
Yeah, they use Klay Thompson in that same way.
Yeah, but it seems like it seems like now it seems like when it was just Steph and Klay, it seemed like both of them were out in the perimeter, and it seems like now they're using KD again. He's still shooting threes in the corner. I saw him handle a couple times, not very much. Oh, by the way. Why the hell? Let me go back to the Clippers for a second. Why the hell is Blake Griffin handling the ball, and why are you not pressuring him? See, this is what I'm sorry. This is what I'm talking about with bad defensive coaching, and this is why I don't trust Fred Hoiberg as a coach. Why is he even? If he's handling the ball, someone should be guarding him.
Right.
Okay. If he's handling the ball, there were 3 times last night where Blake Griffin basically went coast to coast, and Robin Lopez, because he didn't want to be in a poster, he kind of half defended. He didn't come over.
Matador defense.
He didn't come over to help, and Blake Griffin still kind of had a posterize and dunk on him. But you didn't even. Oh my goodness, man! They can play so much better, and they didn't. And it just seems, I'm sorry, the Clippers are beatable. They just are.
Right.
I see holes in that team. They will be exposed for the team that they are when the playoffs get here. But they'll end up getting the number one. They'll end up getting probably the number 1 or the number 2 spot in the conference, and everybody be like, "This is the Clippers' year." And then once the playoffs hit, they're gonna get punched in the mouth.
Right.
To be quite honest, I hope the Timberwolves make it and they shock in the 8th seed or the 7th seed and they shock the world and beat those bums. Their team is present.
Wow.
Their team is
calling them bums, huh?
Dude, watch.
Well, wait.
What?
Where's the camera at? We won't be working for the Clippers.
I don't care. I just.
You kind of salty today, dog.
We had a conversation about because the Bulls shouldn't have lost to them. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm looking at that record, and everybody's like the Clippers, and I'm like, okay, wait till the playoffs get here, because they're not gonna do anything. You know what I'm saying? DeAndre Jordan is okay. We're gonna. He's still him. He's still DeAndre, and it's just like, all right, we're still trying to believe that Austin Rivers is actually an NBA player when he's just a defensive specialist, apparently, which I've never noticed him to do. But okay, he can guard a little bit. And Fred Hoiberg he did a stupid technical at the end, and it was dumb. They should have won that game. As a Bulls fan, I'm just mad at that. They should have won that game. The Clippers are not awesome.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Just
it's okay, man. The views expressed by Christian are not necessarily the views of Anthony Joslin and the Push 101, but
they're the views of Pushing Wild Black Sports.
Okay.
I hate the Clippers. Genuinely dislike the Clippers. And this goes back to I got a half an hour for the Cowboy game, and I want you to get to your segment because it was awesome. But this goes back to, and this is why I love the Mavericks, even though they're going through a very bad time right now. But I don't like Mark Cuban. Like, and usually I don't really throw shade at owners, but Mark Cuban is the reason that the Clippers are good. Because Mark Cuban and Dan Gilbert and a bunch of small market owners back when Chris Paul got traded by the Hornets at the time before they were the Pelicans. Back when the NBA owned the Hornets, and they traded him to the Lakers because he was supposed to be a Laker. Mark Cuban protested, and he got 3 other owners, and he protested that trade. And David Stern sent him to the Clippers and made the Clippers relevant with Blake Griffin and made the Clippers relevant. And basically, Chris Paul did the lob show to Blake Griffin, and the Clippers are relevant. And the reason that Mark Cuban said what protested was because you cannot make a large market team like Los Angeles Lakers. You cannot gift them a star like that. It messes with the competitive balance. Never mind the fact that the Clippers are also in Los Angeles. They just had a very bad owner in Donald Sterling that really didn't care about. He cared about the bottom line more than he cared about building a winning franchise. But I digress. Made the Clippers instantly good. Made the Clippers instantly viable. Made the Clippers instantly more money. So you got 2 large market teams. You have 2 teams in the same market that are in the same. That are in the same arena, Staples Center. You've made LA more money. They're about with Golden State with the Golden State Warriors being as good as they are and being former champions. You have 3 teams in the same media market that are either in because the Lakers are fine. The Lakers are young. The Lakers are exciting. The Lakers will probably be fighting for that 8th seed this year. That's how good they are. So basically, a coaching change and a bunch of young talent makes the Lakers viable again. And basically, we watch the Clippers every year and we think, "Yay, the Clippers! This is the Clippers year, Clipper Nation." And then when they get in the playoffs, they get punched in the mouth and they get exposed as the frauds they are.
Well,
but anyway. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, is the most intense of us. And people will say, well, Ant's pretty intense. Christian is intense.
I'm really not. I just don't like how they got good. I don't like.
And this is funny because we had a pre-production meeting last week about biases.
I'm sorry. I just don't like them. I don't.
Okay.
I don't like them. Never liked them. Never liked how they. Because Chris Paul shouldn't have been there. The way he got there was ridiculous, and I've hated them ever since.
You ready to go to the next segment?
Yes, I am, Anthony. We need to go to the next segment.
Okay.
Because I can rant about how bad I think the Clippers are all day, and I don't want to. But you had an interesting thought a couple days ago.
Actually, on the last podcast.
Now I'm gonna change. Now, originally, and this is a quick pre-production meeting live on air. The original name of this segment is Your All 7-Foot Team. But as we were constructing this team, because you had called me last night because you wanted me to hear it, there are some parameters. So can I suggest a name change?
Okay. So here's the name change. The list. These are all guys that are 6'10" and above. Really, just because they list you at 6'10", that doesn't mean that you're not 7 foot. Because how the measurements go, you're measured one time during the combine, or you're measured one time during your sophomore year in high school, and they base it off of that. Most of these guys are true 7-footers, but on paper they're listed as something else. But this list for this particular show is my all 7-footer team. This is a 7-footer team that actually could play against NBA teams or other teams and actually be a functioning basketball squad.
And you didn't just do top 5. You went
I went crazy.
You went 15. So if there was a draft and you
I went 19, big homie.
Okay, but there's only 15. All right. I'm sorry, go.
Okay.
Do what you do, man.
Okay, and I'd like to send a shout out to NBA 2K because I basically did my preliminary research using the video game. You know, who will rebound the best, who would be defensively the best, playing with these other people. So my first 7-footer lists at 6'9", but he's truly 7 feet, and it's Kevin Durant. Then my second 7-footer is the Greek freak, Giannis Oladipo.
Now, when you go through your 5, can I kind of set up positions, please?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, So go through your first 5, and then I'll set up positions.
Okay.
So we have the Greek freak and Kevin Durant, right?
And I'm giving you these in no uncertain order.
Right.
It's no order. These are just the guys that made the squad.
So we're not talking about. So this isn't your starting 5.
Right. But as I go through my top 10, maybe you can pull a starting 5 out of that top 10.
Well, I'm gonna, for the purposes of time and for the purposes of this, your first 5 will be your starting 5, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Then my second, my third person is Andrew Bogut, and it's strictly because he's a good defensive center and he knows how to pass the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Then my fourth 7-footer is Anthony Davis, and we were disputing this while we were in pre-production last night. There's been different stories. I heard he was 6'6" and grew 8 inches. I heard he was 6'6" and grew 8 inches.
And I heard he was 6'3" and grew 6 inches.
Right. But we're still going to list him as a 7-footer. Then our last and fifth.
Wait. So you have the Greek Freak, Andrew Bogut, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis. What was your fifth one?
Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay. This is gonna be your preliminary starting five, right?
And this is the preliminary starting five to start the game. This isn't the best.
This isn't the best lineup. We still think
this. I mean, this isn't the all scorers lineup. This is
yeah. Okay, so your point guard would be a toss up between the Greek Freak, and you can actually run a 2-point guard set with this lineup because Anthony Davis has point guard skills because he was a point guard in high school by him being 6'3" for his freshman year and didn't grow till his junior year. You also have Greek Freak with point guard skills, and he's a legitimate 7 feet. So you can actually run a 2-point guard set, a type of 2-point guard set offense with that. KD plays his natural position, more of a small forward. Andrew
on the 2 guard.
But in a 2-point guard set, you would have one of the point guards would actually be kind of a scorer, and it would be a toss up because both of them can score. So I'm trying to see how that would go. But KD's role as like the 3 or the big 2 guard, but he would actually guard the small forward. His role is more pivotal because in closing time he would actually be the go-to guy. And then you have Bogut as you have Bogut as your center, as your straight center, and he passes he'll pass out the double team well, he passes in the post well, and then you have Karl Anthony Towns, who is an athletic power forward.
Right.
So you like that breakdown? Am I off base here?
I mean, come see, come side. They all. It's pretty much academic at that point. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just roll the ball out.
So then you got your second five, and this is your preliminary bench.
Okay. I know the New York Knicks fans are gonna hate me, but I would have Kristaps Porzingis as my 6th man.
Okay.
Just come off the bench and get them buckets.
Okay.
Then in another bench spot, I would have Boogie Cousins.
Okay.
Then in another bench spot, I would have Tyson Chandler.
Okay.
Can I just rattle them off real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
And then finishing out the roster, I would have Mark Gasol, Mason Plumlee, Cody Zeller, Tristan Thomas, and this is a wild card that you contributed over the 4 podcasts that we've done. You really been watching OKC, and you like the Sabonis kid.
Yeah.
His name is Domantas Sabonis. He's a good stretch 4. I don't know what type of player he's going to be yet, but I actually watched the OKC game earlier this week, and I really, he's got some talent. Now, these last, and then we also have Steve Adams and Andre Drummond and JaVale McGee, because JaVale McGee is going to be a good defensive player. He's coming into his own with Golden State. And I
think with JaVale McGee, and we're not gonna break down your bench because as I'm listening to the list, which is awesome list, there are things that I'm like, okay, I can't really break down positions after the first 5. But with JaVale McGee, see, this is what happens when you're a journeyman center and you have all the talent in the world and you've been with a lot of bad teams and you really don't. We're gonna see JaVale McGee, like you said, come in his own, partially because it's a good team and he's not expected to do like
everything.
Right. He's not like the franchise sitter. No, he's gonna be in rotation. And for what he does, he's athletic still. He still jumps out the gym. He's a rim protector, which with Andrew Bogut leaving and a couple other rim protectors leaving, with everybody with the second tier Warriors kind of leaving and going to other places, JaVale McGee is probably gonna end up being their rim protector, which they will need in the playoffs.
So, and then we have some legacy picks, some dudes that I just wanted to put on this team for what they've done and what they've been in the league, and just they're 7 feet. So we have Tyson Chandler.
You mentioned Tyson Chandler.
Right. We have Tyson Chandler. We have Joakim Noah. And he's coming back from injury, but the reason why I couldn't put him on there defensively is he's been hurt over the last 2 years.
Now, here's why, because I actually suggested Joakim Noah. Here's why I think he's important for this list. Joakim Noah, during Derrick Rose's his injury year, his initial injury year where he was done, they ran a point center offense where Joakim could actually handle the ball. Now we've seen big men go coast to coast. I just ranted about Blake Griffin going coast to coast, a few minutes ago. But it was to the point because the Bulls didn't have a guard that was a point guard that was willing to look to run your stuff. So Tibbs ran a set where basically Joakim was running the point and he was setting people up. Did that really do anything for the Bulls? Not really. It looked kind of clunky a little bit just because we weren't used to seeing it. But for the purposes of this list, Joakim Noah is you can start your bench with him and then work your way around everywhere else.
Right. And then we have finishing up the bench, and actually I'm going to say this, Hassan Whiteside and Dirk Nowitzki. Now Dirk, they haven't measured him since he was in Germany playing in junior high.
He's 7 feet.
He's 7 feet though. But Dirk is 7 feet, and Hassan Whiteside has so much upside, but we haven't found how to motivate him yet.
We're gonna see his motivation this year because it's basically him. It's basically him and Justice Winslow on that team. They're trying to figure out as they go, here, which is actually, as much as I enjoy Dwayne Wade being a Bull. I really do. I like the makeup of that team, as you know. But there's a part of me that wishes that they were able to, kind of not. They were able to sign D so he can retire as a Heat member. That being said, I respect what Pat Riley did in the sense that we gotta go young, man, and we gotta see what we got.
Yeah, but you didn't have to disrespect the dude.
I understand.
In certain ways,
the way he did it was not professional and wrong. It just was. So yeah, I don't like that. I think Pat Riley is a curmudgeon, and his ego get in the way.
This list will be posted on both of our channels, and if you want to leave your opinions in the comment section, but share it around. It's just a discussion point, and we're working on this. This is going to be a consistent segment through the NBA podcast. We're going to come up with weird lineups. And by the way, honorable mention for the 7-foot lineup is Russell Westbrook. Crawled up numerous 7-footer tests this week, and he played like he's 7'6".
Oh man, yeah, that Houston dunk wasn't.
Hey man, it was another one that he did, and he like comes down and he's talking to himself all short, bussy. You know what I mean?
I love what the I love what the play-by-play guy said, the Oklahoma play-by-play guy, because I watch a lot of my games online, so I see, like, I'll pick the home broadcast, and I love what the home broadcaster said about that dunk. He goes full Pentecostal after he does something like that, because the guy asked Russ, like, what do you be saying when he didn't say what do you be, but he said, what do you say? What do you think when that stuff comes out of your mouth? Do you even realize what you're saying? And he goes, no, I don't. A lot of times I don't even know what I say when I do that. I just kind of go.
But
so it's like he's speaking in tongues after he dunks on somebody.
The most impressive thing about that dunk is he switched hands.
In midair, right? Didn't he switch hands in midair?
Yeah. And that is that's what blew my mind when I saw it. He just posterized young Capella.
Bro, we got about a good 15 minutes, man, and I want to get your we actually have 9, but they always do the anthem and stuff, so I'm gonna give you 15. I gotta get your thoughts about 2 things. Russell Westbrook just got inducted into the Oklahoma Basketball Hall of Fame, and Jordan inducted him. And he had thoughts. And Stephen A. Smith also had thoughts. And also, I got to get your thoughts about the whole Drake and KD thing. So, go.
Okay, well, as far as the induction thing, OKC is really like a jilted lover. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're like, oh, he's not as good as he was. It really wasn't what we wanted either. And he's such a bad guy. Just enjoy the time you have and let it go. And see, to me, Oklahoma City was like the Democrats in the election.
Here we go.
They just thought that they was going to mail it in because the idea was so crazy that they thought it was impossible. But me and my fellow co-host, my host, we know that sometimes the craziest thing is actually the easiest thing to do.
Right.
And as far as the Dirk thing, I think they are friends off the court. Yeah, as far as the Drake thing, I think they are somewhat, friends off the court. But I think what's the name is in that zone where he's playing basketball, and they have talked trash to each other because there was a situation 2 years ago where he's playing against OKC, and he basically tells Drake the set as he's walking up the court. He says, "Man."
So he's playing Toronto when he was with OKC.
Right.
Wow.
And he tells him the set, and he goes, "Have you do meet me right here." And it's the last second shot. He points to a spot on the floor. Amir Johnson comes out to check KD. KD looks at the clock, looks back at Drake, lets the clock go down, shoots a three-pointer, and walks back to where Drake is sitting and says, "What now?" And ironically, Russell Westbrook hurt his hand in that game and was out. So what's the name had to take the scoring load. But they said he was trash talking to Drake through the whole
game. And what are your thoughts about Jordan throwing shots, but not?
You know what? Okay, this
because I've already exposed the hypocrisy that Jordan, that whole hypocrisy thing. Let's be
honest. He's got to support his horse in the race, right?
Yeah.
Who is Westbrook signed to as far as his shoe contract?
The Jordan brand.
Right. So he's got to support him and say what he needs to say. And you know what? To be honest, a lot of old heads, retired players don't like KD. Don't like what LeBron did. Don't like what. But who cares? The only reason why you can set up and talk is because you're finished. If you were playing, you wouldn't be talking much because you're living in the same moment I am.
Right. And everybody want to forget. Like, I had a very interesting, and unfortunately, I can't record all the interesting conversations about sports that I have because, I would have to pay too many people if this happens and ask for permission. But the best place to talk sports is the barbershop. So It's very interesting when I go and get my haircut to have these discussions because there are people that love LeBron now because he went back to Cleveland, even though I made the argument yesterday that him going back to Cleveland was also a sucker move. But that's another podcast.
Wow, I gotta hear that one.
I'll do it really quickly, but I want to finish this point first.
No, go ahead. We can do it on another podcast. I just didn't hear that point when we were in pre-production. Don't worry about it.
Because I actually respect what LeBron did and I respect what KD did. So I'm not hating. So I don't hate the moves because they grown men and they independent contractors. But my backup barber was making a point to the dude in the chair. Like, how do you like LeBron James for going back to Cleveland, but you hate KD? You know what I'm saying? But you respect LeBron. And he was getting the dude was like, but I went because the guy hates KD and is like KD's fake, and he brought up the Drake thing, and they kick it with each other, and they go to each other's house, and that was fake and all this stuff. So he went on this thing about how KD left. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of dudes in the barbershop was salty about how KD left. And I'm like, and then they put respect on LeBron because LeBron, and I got 3 minutes and I can do this in 3 minutes. They put respect on LeBron because LeBron went back to Cleveland, and I brought up the point that really, if you think about what LeBron did, you can make an argument that LeBron did a sucker move because D-Wade was hurt. You know what I'm saying? And one of the reasons he went to Miami is because he didn't want to take the scoring load all the time in Cleveland. The first go around, he wanted help. And if you look back at the decision, he was like, I don't have to score 30 every night. He's like, I don't have to score 30 every night. Toward the end, when his time there, it became apparent that D-Wade was not necessarily on his last legs, but had injury problems because of the knees. The last year, D-Wade played the last year they were together. D-Wade didn't play a lot of the other games. Pat Riley was resting him for the playoffs, right? So you can see you can see that the Miami time was kind of fading. We didn't know about the Chris Bosh situation, but you can kind of see that was kind of fading, because of D Wade's injury situation. Now, in the time that LeBron was in Miami doing what he was doing, winning championships, going to the finals, Cleveland was quietly. You had Kyrie Irving, and you had Kyrie Irving. You had Tristan Thompson. You had Anthony Bennett. Although Anthony Bennett really wasn't, he was the number one talent. He was the number one pick. He was the number one talent, but he really was kind of lost a little bit. And they were a crappy team, but they were a crappy team because they were young, but they had pieces. So basically, you go from a situation where you basically had a younger version of D Wade on your squad. You go to a situation where Tristan Thompson isn't necessarily proven, but he is a young talent. You had a number one pick in Anthony Bennett still trying to find his way. You had Kyrie Irving, who had injury problems himself, but he was a lot younger and he was still trying. He wasn't seasoned, but he was a talent. So and you had Andrew Wiggins coming.
You got about 30 seconds.
So you had Andrew Wiggins coming, and he decides to come back to Cleveland with all these young bucks, and he's a natural. His position is a point guard, even though he's a small forward, power forward. So he's a natural facilitator, and you're playing for a coach that runs a European style offense where all you do is run. And you're the best player ever. Or not the best player ever, but you're the best player in the league. So you come back home, you write this gigantic letter, but you come back home with a bunch of young guns, and basically you get Kevin Love for Andrew Wiggins, who at the time, Kevin Love was a double-double machine and a three-point specialist. I'm just saying, it got hard. He dipped out. And he dipped out to a pretty good, young, talented team. And he took that team to the finals. So he knew what he was doing. Everything has been calculated. LeBron isn't stupid. But in any event, this is Christian Dean for Pushing Wild Black Sports. Ant, do your close.
Hey, this is Anthony Johnson with that Push 101. Check it out, the best unknown podcast in your life.
Deuces, people.